What's going on, everybody? It's FREEDO here for Your Overwatch, and I've been having a blast on Bastion. You could call it Bastion. Let's never say that again. I want to break down this non-standard pick and tell you why it actually works, because I think videos like these are a good way for us to open up our understanding of Overwatch and the complexities that exist that I don't think the majority of the community actually appreciates. There is so many things that are way more viable than people give them credit for, but because either the team refuses to coordinate around it or play into the strengths of what's going on or what the player's trying to do, oftentimes people just get tilted and throw the game because they think that you're throwing the game because you're picking something they don't like. But embrace the Bastion, everybody. Come on, ride the cart to ride it. It's a party over here. Why does Bastion on attack work? Well, I'll tell you this right now. The standard meta comp right now, especially for defense, is tank heavy, 3 or 4 tanks depending. And it's based upon balling up and being very difficult to dislodge. It can contest the cart for a long time and stall out the fight and the payload for quite a while. It's based upon the principle of thinning out the attackers long enough to eventually sustain with better respawns, and not to have to actually make aggressive plays on defense so much, but to just utilize the power of healing and Roadhog hooks every 6 seconds to be the major defining factor of what holds the team comp together. Now, there's ways to dislodge that, and I think Bastion is one of the best right now. What can Bastion do that no other DPS can? Well, it can establish you for the greatest poke at the chokes type engagement possible. Nothing can give you as much firepower for breaking Rhine shields and setting up an angle of attack that forces the enemy to move. If that's your goal, Bastion does that. If the enemy defense wants to just stand there, it is incredibly viable to set up a Bastion attack angle. Not anything in the game can deal damage per second like Bastion can. So many things can get out-healed by Ana amp healing. The hilarious thing is that Bastion at medium range can shred through even that. It's the only form of damage in the game right now that tanks will have to run in fear as soon as they get into a medium range engagement. Now, of course, there is a lot of weaknesses to the Bastion on attack strategy, and that of itself, it's a slow play style that is weak to team comps that want to initiate onto it and dive it from multiple angles. But I don't know about you guys, but forcing the enemy team to have to move towards you and dive you and fight on your terms sounds like a breath of fresh air in the current meta of Overwatch. And I think this is the kind of thing that the game desperately needs. There is, of course, a few things in the game that we suggest we want rebalanced, but my favorite way to unlock the joy of Overwatch is to find these really interesting spots in the metagame that throw team comps for a loop. We've talked about multi-tank in the current state of the meta quite a bit, and the few major strengths to beating it is setting up multiple DPS at different angles, but another way is by utilizing the powerhouse DPS Bastion. I mean, honestly, he can go crazy against these tanks. If you start running him and start setting up tactical angles of attack, you can start to envision yourself being in that last Bastion cinematic against all the Reinhardt buddies. All the tanks be dropping. Now, what are some of the pieces that I think that you should come equipped with your tactical attack Bastion setup? There's a few things that I think can work pretty well. One, I can envision it working in the squad comp paradigm, so that you can have the Bastion setup be as minimalistic as possible with a Reinhardt and an Ana. And then two, if you have strong DPS players on your team that can go flank and stay alive behind the enemy team, it can bend and break the defense, because it's going to be really difficult for them to make a coordinated attack onto the Bastion with flankers in their backline as well. First time I explained the strategy was based upon how it's set up by the pro team Misfits with a Widowmaker, but I think Bastion could do the same thing with the medium range damage, and his benefit is being able to burst through Rhine shields. And with that being the case, I think it's most interesting to think about this team comp with single healer, which I'm thinking right now is one of the most powerful ways to play Overwatch. Set up the Ana, and like a Bastion, Reinhardt, and a Roadhog or a Mei for the crowd control on the divas that want to dive you, or to freeze Genjis even as they're reflecting with Mei, and Mei and Roadhog can obviously hook and freeze through defense matrix. You can set up a rolling death squadron, and as long as your Ana player plays good enough to be able to keep herself alive while healing her flankers from range and popping the amp heals on the Bastion at that perfect moment in order to keep him alive, it can be an incredibly scary composition. Now, tips for the Bastion player in this setup. You want to keep in mind two things. One, you don't actually want to be too far because the range of Bastion's attack drops off quite significantly from afar. So you do want to set up at medium angles but at the same time, you don't want to be able to be dove or hooked too easily. So you can take your little rides on the cart now and then, but if you feel a pressured attack about to be looming around the corner, it might be smart to hop off the cart and take a cheeky alternate angle a little bit further back from the cart to make it a bigger investment for the enemy defense to dive you. All the while, keep in mind, the presence and threat that you have as Bastion is going to cause fits for the enemy team, because how do they fight anything else that isn't you? If you're on Bastion's screen at all, the damage that comes out of him is so significant. There's few heroes in the entire game that can be this devastating. A Widowmaker who never misses, a Roadhog at any time, because Hook is easy to hit, let's just be serious right now, and Bastion are the only heroes that you have to really fear in this game right now. I mean, other heroes can deal damage too, but there's usually some interplay with it. The heroes I just mentioned can insta-kill you. And of course, that's the most powerful way to deal damage in Overwatch, because the faster you can kill, the less chance they have to respond with their own abilities or to be healed up and saved by their Ana. Guys, let me know what you think about the attack Bastion strategy. I think it's a heck of a lot of fun, and I hope through watching gameplays like this one and through our other videos as well, we can unlock the meta a bit more. Because even though I don't like the state of the balance of the game right now, I think there's a lot of things that are far more viable than people give credit for. They just take a little bit more skill to pull off than 3 and 4 tanks. So flex your knowledge of the game. Know when it's smart to take Bastion on attack. It's legit. Not all the time, but it's something that you can put in your tool belt to whip out at key moments. I mean, to be honest, Cloud9's been running Bastion on Route 66 on offense for quite a while now. This isn't anything incredibly new. Let's get creative, Overwatch community. I'm seeing a lot of gamers to be pretty down on the game right now. I think a lot of it has to do with how dissatisfied we all are with the way the skill rating works. I think they need to just reorganize that whole thing, to be honest. The whole win streak thing and the manipulations they do aren't working. Not a fan. But as far as the meta is concerned of the game, there's a lot more options available to us than people give credit for. Be imaginative. Unlock that fun in the game for yourself. You can't stop Johnny 5. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button. Subscribe for more. We upload each and every day. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and check out our Discord server. All linked in the description. That's been it for me. I've been FREEDO for Your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.